city council meeting. We're going to start with our committees. Tonight we have 6 first readings, no second, third pending. And so it's going to be Jim for a little while.
Jim show.
All Jim tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it started at 6:03. We'll open the Finance Committee with everyone present. Starting out with Resolution 21R47, a resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into a 3-year agreement with Clinton Lawn Care for New Franklin lawn maintenance, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. We've been using Clinton Lawn Care for about 11 years. They provide great service and a fantastic price. Our current contract ends December 31st this year, so this contract will be for next year, following year. And we're looking at a small increase. I think it's a 10% increase over what we've been paying, and what we've been paying has been the same for about that 11 years.
I think he gave us the same price always.
Yeah,
I think
never
it's
locked
just-
into the 3 years
We were just
going
excellent
forward.
and great service.
And as with this contract, they were looking to do 5 years, but you again in your wisdom, no, let's just do 3. So I don't know if there's any issues with this. Anybody have any
Is
concerns?
it cheap enough that we don't want to take a bid, anything?
No, I mean with the price. I don't know, Mr. Abson. We don't need to bid this out.
We don't have to bid it out, and the reason that we're suggesting that we renew is we had issues before these folks, and they were pretty significant, particularly at the cemetery. And we had a lot of complaints and so since they've come on board, if there's been issues, they've resolved them, and we don't get those kind of calls anymore. So it's just we're so satisfied with the level of service that why switch?
And they're a local company,
Yeah.
and local residents also. Anyone else? Y'all want to waive the 3 on this, move forward? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Hang on. Let's see. I wasn't able to get back to get the paperwork, so.
The conference room's loud. Come on.
Jim,
Yeah.
We don't
I
need it.
haven't noticed that.
Okay.
So we were talking about the price.
I don't know.
And he said it's lower than the last price we got 10 years ago from the competitors.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Thank you.
We should
Yes.
bid it out.
So I,
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Okay, next we have Resolution 21R48, a resolution authorizing transfer of funds from the general fund to district funds and dispatch fund, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This is going to the police district fund, amount of $200,000, and the dispatch fund of $270,000. The dispatch fund seems kind of high.
Well, that's the remainder of the appropriations for the year. And since we're going to have to make another payment, more than one payment to the COG, I wanted to go ahead and do that and put that cash in there to cover the appropriations. So, yeah.
Will this cover the closet price also, or do we
Um,
have to add to it?
We'll have to see, because we still have, as you know, appropriations and other lines for employees and for contractual and things that we're no longer going to need for this year. So we're just going to have to wait and see,
What the cost would be?
how it all falls out.
We expect, we're paid through September, and we anticipate that the assessment for the final 3 months will be the same as the last 3 months, which is about $213,000. So this creates some cushion above that 213, because there's still some cleanup expenses relative to the transfer that we'll probably still have to address.
Questions, comments, concerns? Wants to waive the 3 on that. Moving on to 21R49, a resolution creating a separate special revenue fund titled American Rescue Plan Act Fund, fund number 2069, for the monies distributed through the American Rescue Plan Act, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. And this is something that we did last year with the money.
The CARES Act money, yes, we have to have set up a separate fund for. We have not received that first tranche of the money, but we are scheduled to do that in the next week or so.
Okay. Pretty basic, eh? All right.
I will tell you that there's nothing simple about this stuff. There was a protocol that had to be followed, an hour and a half seminar, but in terms of how actually to make the application, to make the ask, so that then the state then can give the money because it's coming through the feds to the state and then from the state to us non-entitlement cities. And so it would be helpful if we get the account set up so it's there in place when the funds come in.
All right, we'll ask to waive the 3 on that. Resolution 21R50, resolution authorizing additional appropriations to the 2021 annual operating appropriation budget and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. And additional appropriations are necessary for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund, Bulletproof Vest Grant Fund, JAG Grant Fund, and we're looking at $400,000 to the general fund to cover road paving, $740,223.36, American Rescue Plan Act Fund for grant monies received, $12,857.14 for the JAG Grant Fund for grant monies received, and $3,600 for the Bulletproof Vest Grant Fund for grant monies received.
Yes, that's it.
Questions? All right, we'll ask to waive the 3 on that. Okay, resolution 21R51, a resolution to honor New Franklin's first mayor by renaming Rollins Park to Bolas Park and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. I sponsored this resolution, so I'll talk about it first. First thing I want to say is that I will be asking for time on it. I think it's important that we do take time when discussing this. And my reasoning behind it, I think pretty much every city has honored their first mayor in some way or another. And unfortunately, it tends to happen after they die. And to me, that just seems kind of silly. Why aren't we doing it while the person is still around to enjoy it and enjoy it with his family? I picked Rollins Park because it's named after a street. And so there's no real connection to the name itself. And Mr. Bolas was instrumental in helping to get that land and keep that land so we could have it as a park. Mr. Bolas was elected in 2009 as the village mayor and then automatically transitioned to the city mayor. And then he was reelected twice. So the citizens felt comfortable with him. He wasn't one of these quick one in and one out type of guys. So he certainly contributed to the forming of the city and getting it going when it's a tough period of time. Again, it just comes down to, I don't want to do a memorial. That's, why wait? And I think it's something important, and I'll happy to take questions or comments.
I agree.
I got in on that sponsorship.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time with that all through, but I didn't hear about it, so that's fine. No question. I think it's a great idea.
Okay, terrific.
Jim, if I could, I want you to know and the city to know and Al to know that the Parks Commission has been talking for a few years about doing something. And so we share, I can tell you the Parks Commission shares the feeling that there needs to be some honorarium for Al and for the years that he served. We were hopeful at one time if the funds had come in, the grant had come in to do the pavilion, the intention was that the Parks Commission was going to come to council and ask to name that for Al. I don't know when or if the pavilion, but I think this is a great alternative, and it's in the neighborhood, and the people that were around during that period of time when we acquired that property, that was a blood and guts. There was a grant, NatureWorks grant that Al led to get the funding for that, so I think it's very appropriate.
Okay. And that was my original thought too, was if that pavilion ever got built, would be that, and that, of course, we can go on that.
No, we were going to have a big rock and a plaque and everything, but we couldn't get the pavilion built. So.
Okay. Again, I want to ask for time, so if anybody has any questions or concerns, any citizens or comments, give them time. We can discuss it again at the next meeting. Okay. Moving on to resolution 21R52, a resolution to request bids for New Franklin's employee health care insurance program and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This resolution is sponsored by myself, Mr. Fetterman, and Ms. Jones. And the thought behind it, if I may speak, is that, you know, employee benefits, healthcare benefits is one of the largest expenses with any business or city government. So we need to make sure that we're getting the best option out there for the citizens and what we're paying for the employees and what they're getting and what they're paying and how easy or, you know, how much of a hassle it is for the employees. We think it's very important that we put it out there for bids. The renewal comes up October 1st, so now's the time to get started on this. And it's important that we provide all the information to prospective bidders as they come in and request information, that we're very upfront and transparent and provide complete information. I think the program we have today, there's some hiccups with it, as with any program, but I was in favor of the program when it was first presented to us a couple years before we actually went with it and passed it. And I'm still in favor of the program, but I think it's important that we make sure that the options available to us, that we're, again, doing the right thing. Questions, comments?
I guess comment would be, did you email me to see if I was willing to speak co-sponsor with you, or?
No, sorry.
I mean, I don't think Andrew had anything there. It just seems like it, you know, something we were thinking about. I would have been happy to help sponsor that.
Well,
and Mr. Bolio.
Yeah.
Well, so it kind of seems like you're trying to just like eliminate some people on council and maybe just contact a few people on council.
No,
which I think that's kind of undermining and
No,
backdooring.
that wasn't the case at all. Actually, with this resolution.
It comes out like that, Jim.
Well, I apologize that you see it that way. This resolution.
How would you see it?
This resolution was put together about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Resolutions are to be turned in Thursday by 5 o'clock.
So that's it. You just thought about it right then. I'm going to go ahead and do this.
We talked about it that day.
That day, and that was it.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't.
I would like to see everybody involved in stuff. It seems like our council is just dividing so rapidly. It's
I
crazy.
mentioned at the last meeting several things.
But did you just mentioned that? What did you mention? That we
About
should maybe
insurance, because
about
I
the
talked
insurance.
with a couple of different people, and I even asked some people here. And I went to Paul then and talked with him, because I had a couple of people complain to me. That was the first I heard of it.
And as vice president, do you think you'd let the president maybe know that, hey, we're thinking about
I
this?
should have, you're absolutely right.
just
Same
wanna
with
get
the
this straight.
response
I
ID sometimes.
See a couple things that
I do know.
most of the council wasn't even involved in.
I do understand, because it's been done to me. But what I'm saying to you is, we didn't. If you want to co-sponsor, do. I think that's.
Well, it's out here
wonderful.
now, dude. We're by that now. And the thing with Bowles, it's been nice council as a whole.
I didn't know.
That
anything
looks
about
very
that.
nice on a piece of legislation. Council as a
They
whole,
can put
once
council
again.
as a whole.
It's
that's
too, Judy,
important.
we're past that point.
You're
It's
not
out
past
there.
it. You're trying to be past it. What I'm saying is that this is a good resolution.
Oh, I think it's a good resolution. I would have liked to have my name on it, if definitely. At this point, it's a moot point at this point. You know, I'm in favor of it, but that's all it is. Yeah, that's fine.
So,
I got a few
That's it.
comments, but I don't want to short circuit council. First of all, I like the component, section 3 talked about the New Franklin Employee Healthcare Committee reviewing the bids and sharing their opinion with the opinion of council. So I'm on board with this from the administration standpoint. I think it makes sense. We did this in a shallow dive as opposed to a deep dive. I think sometime, I can't remember, maybe early June, because our current health plan issues, 2 particular issues arose. One is access to providers. We've been running into situations where some providers are saying, we don't want to deal with your insurance, and so we don't want your business. Okay, and then there's been some issues with billing issues, which we kind of knew would happen because it's set up, as you know, that they call it balanced billing, and our plan says we'll pay 120% of what Medicare pays, and some providers are satisfied with that, and some are not. And if the bill exceeded 120% of Medicare, and the provider wanted to continue to pursue the balance, then there was an ELAP, the agency was in place, part of the program, where they would defend that and they would fight the fight with the provider. And if it went to court, which none of them have, they would defend in court. And if in court they had to pay, they would pay the difference. So now, but that created potential problems for people who were in the barrel, okay, that were getting shaken. So we knew those, we were aware of those two issues, and it was brought to our attention by some of the union guys. And we had a meeting in June with the healthcare committee, and we talked about those specific things. And when I say we did a shallow dive, we got a couple rough bids from what would it take, if we had a different form. I'm going to talk about the 4 forms here in just a second. What would the cost be to have the same level of coverage? The numbers, it was as much as we're spending a little bit under $1 million a year, and we've been at that for the last couple of years. And the projection was that we'd probably be somewhere around 1.2 or 1.3 million to have the same coverage if we went with a different form that we wouldn't have to worry about access to providers. So with that in mind, then the next question the healthcare committee had is, what can we do to fix this? And there's 2 things that are in the works right now. Cleveland Clinic has been the biggest problem in Akron General. And we knew that they were going to resist the balanced billing, and they resisted actually to the point of, in some cases, saying, we don't want your business. So I won't go deep into the weeds on this, but 2 things we did. One is, that's actually in the works, is talking to SUMA about some type of contract with them specifically to make sure that we don't have a problem with SUMA, that SUMA would always be available. And then as far as we're utilizing some of the tools of this program, they call it Nurse Navigator, to try to make it a little easier to get to the provider that you want to get to and to educate all the people of how to do that. And there's another component which they I think they refer to as the virtual card, where we can load a card, and let's say I want to go to Cleveland Clinic for MRI, and they say, here's the bill, okay? We can load the card and pay the bill up front so that the individual has access to the provider that they want. So we're exploring those 2 options, and I'm not suggesting to you because of that you should do a hold on this. I want you to know that's what we talked about back in June. At the end of the discussion, I will tell you that what came from the consensus, really it was universal. As I said, or should we just go to a different plan? They said, well, let's give this another year, let's see if we can make this work, and let's try these things. So when I say we did a shallow dive, we took a shallow look. So I'm certainly in favor of taking a deeper look, okay? And here's what we're going to be looking at. There's basically 4 ways to go. I'll try to make this simple. One is fully insured. Back in the township days, that's what we were. We had Blue Cross or Anthem. You had a card. You handed the card, and whatever the bill was, it was covered. And what the township paid was whatever the premiums were for the coverage. So that's one option. And the downside of that always was that you can't really control what your increase is going to be year to year, and we went through some years where it was madness, where it was going 15, 18, 20% premium increases. The second model is self-insured with a network, and the city takes on some of the risk, but you have a network, either Cigna or Anthem or Blue Cross, and they have contracts with the providers as to what they'll pay for a given service. And in most cases, it's going to be more than 120% of Medicare. But you have access generally to all providers, all right? And that's the one that turns out to be slightly more expensive, or whether you consider slightly. The initial quota we got on that's the one that came in at about 1.2 or 1.3 million. Upside being that we have access to more providers. There's a little less scrutiny of the billing with that one, because if you remember, we had a specific situation with an individual who had a bill for like 70 grand that should only have been 7 grand, and it got through the cracks, and we were in that type of plan at that point in time. So the third model is what we have right now, which is self-insured without a network, and you can theoretically go wherever you want to, but they got to be willing to take you. And that's where the hiccup has come with them. And we have experienced savings with that. We have had some problems, and some of them have been significant. I would say, the pretty significant majority of the people that are covered on the plan have not had problems. But if I'm the guy with the problem, it's a real problem. It hasn't been me. But anyway, so that's a third one that, we know what the cost there is. The fourth one that we should look at would be the Summit County's health plan. And we took a look at that
In the past.
in the past. I don't know. Here's the situation. On the first, we know what our numbers are. We can get numbers for fully insured. We can get numbers for self-insured with the network. And when we get those numbers, we're going to want those numbers compatible with what our plan provides. And by that I mean our plan right now provides deductibles of $300 per person, $550 per family, $10 copays on medical, anywhere from $10 to $45 copays on prescription, maximum out of pocket of $1,000 per person or $2,000 per family, and the employees pay a share of that. They pay $65 a month for individual, $153 a month per family. So we need to take those numbers, give them to the fully insured, and say, what will that cost to have that type of coverage? We take those same numbers, we give it to self-insured with a network, and we shop the different networks, and we say, what will it cost for that kind of coverage? When we get to Summit County, there's no tweaking, okay? We get what they have. I can't tell you what that is, but we'll find out. And we'll see what that cost is. And I think it's fair to say, dispatch looked at it. And I think it's fair to say that the access to providers is satisfied. I think their network would provide, would get you access to SUMA. But cost-wise, I think there's going to be some significant differences in copays, out-of-pocket, deductibles, and those kind of things. We'll find out what that is. So I believe that we can get those bids or numbers within 30 days. And while normally you might want to take extra time on this, the clock is ticking. And then what I would suggest that we consider is exactly what the resolution suggests, is when we get that we convene the healthcare committee and council and see if we can get us all in the same room and review these together so that collectively we get some understanding of how do these things look. At some point, if we decide to go to one of these other options, we will have to take a deeper dive to find, deeper dive to find out actual costs, because that's when we have to get into form fire, and all the employees and all the dependents have to fill out the crazy stuff that we've had people get a hard time getting people to fill out before. And that will slow the process. But I think we can get solid, I think we can get good enough approximations from this. So I'm on board with it, and we're ready to proceed if council wants to proceed.
I think that's excellent, and I appreciate your willingness and looking at all the different things. And I think that's what's important. That's what we need to do as a city. We need to make sure that the program we have is a great program. It's working great for us, but is it the best program? So I look forward to that. Questions, comments? We'll look to waive the 3 on this because, as Mr. Adams has said, time is of the essence. We'll close Finance Committee at 6:27.
All right, thank you. Anybody have anything for any of the committees like to talk about? All right, I'll call to order the City of New Franklin meeting. The actual time is 6:24. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Roll call, Susan, please.
Mr. Koch?
Present.
Mr. Hargit?
Present.
Mrs. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Fetterman?
Here.
Mr. Bach?
Here.
Ms. Norris?
Here.
Mr. Stock?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular scheduled meeting on July 7th, 2021.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Koch?
Abstain.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the financials for June 2021, subject to audit.
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
And Mr. Hart?
Yes. We'll go to our public comment. Please keep your comments addressed to council and under 4 minutes and state your name and address. All righty. We're going to move into our legislation again. We have 6 readings, no second, third, or pending. Start with Resolution 21R47. See?
Sponsor, Mayor Adamson. A resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into a 3-year agreement with Clinton Lawn Care for New Franklin lawn maintenance and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 21R47.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
And Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
We move to adopt Resolution 21R47.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Move to resolution 21-R-48. Susan?
Sponsor, Mayor Adamson. A resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from the general fund to the police district and dispatch funds and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 21R.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
We move to adopt Resolution 21R48.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Move to resolution 21-R-49. Susan?
Sponsor, Mayor Adamson. A resolution creating a separate special revenue fund titled American Rescue Plan Act Fund, Fund 2069, for the monies distributed through the American Rescue Plan Act, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 21R49.
Second.
Second, roll call, please.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk, sorry.
Yes.
We move to adopt Resolution 21R49.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
And Mr. Hawk?
Yes. That passes 7-0. Move to resolution 21-R-50.
Sponsor, Mayor Adamson. A resolution authorizing additional appropriations to the 2021 annual operating appropriation budget and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 21R50.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
We move to adopt Resolution 21R50.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
All right, that Passes 7-0. Move to resolution 21-R-51.
Sponsor, Mr. Cox. A resolution to honor New Franklin's first mayor by renaming Rollins Park to Bullis Park and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee, and we will ask for time.
Time requested, time is granted. Resolution number 21-R-52.
Sponsors, Mr. Potts, Mr. Fetterman, and Mrs. Jones. A resolution to request bids for New Franklin's employee health care insurance program and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 21R-52.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman.
Yes.
Mr. Hawk.
Yes.
Ms. Norris.
Yes.
Mr. Stock.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes. We move to adopt Resolution 21R-52.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman.
Yes.
Mr. Hawk.
Yes.
Ms. Norris.
Yes.
Mr. Stock.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. That takes care of our legislation this evening. Move on to the mayor's report.
Still a favorite part of the meeting.
Right.
I know, I get it. All right. Okay, first of all, I want to kind of lead off with, I sent a memo out. I don't know if folks got a chance to see it. I sent it out yesterday around 11 in the morning. We know our trash aggregation contract with Republic is up at the end of this year. We've had 10 years with them. As we discussed it before, it certainly seemed to make perfect sense to me to go out and get some bids. I wasn't aware we had another option, quite frankly. And I think council was on board with that, and I intended to introduce, as a matter of fact, it's drawn, to solicit bids. And then I had a couple conversations with a couple different people, and it led to conversations with the City of Green, also with our law director. And I learned that, and I should have known this, I'll admit, that there was another option. And that would be to do what's known literally in the field as piggybacking on another municipality's contract. I said I should have known that because Coventry did that with our contract. And the parameters, it's under Ohio Revised Code Section 9, I think 9.48, I believe, that permits this. And the requirements are that the other municipality had to have gone out to bid on theirs. That this municipality would endorse all of the aspects of the contract. And this municipality cannot go out for bids prior to piggybacking. And I guess it's stacked that way to make sure that you don't try to do an end run. Okay, so I want you to know that if we piggyback, we can't go for bids. We can't say, let's go for bids, see how the numbers come in, and if they're higher than green, then let's go with green. That's not an option for us. Greens, the City of Green, their council would have to approve it. We would have to say we would like to piggyback on that contract. We'd have to have a resolution that's prepared and passed by council. That we would like to have the terms and conditions that you just got done negotiating after your bid process. And then the City of Green Council would have to agree to that. Their administration doesn't speak for their council. We've got, certainly, as you know, a good relationship with Green. We're partnering with them with the dispatch, and at least it looks favorable at this point in time that there wouldn't really be any good reason for Green not to permit us to do this. The numbers from there, and what we're going to compare for this discussion is the unlimited service. And there's really 3 kinds of service. There's the bag service, where you buy the bags. There's a limited service that you can only fill your container. Or there's the unlimited that you put as much stuff out there as you want to. All right. And then the recycle comes along with that as well, and they were picking up every other week with the recycle. We knew that there were going to be significant bumps in what we pay. Republic has been here several times, and we've seen videos in the industry standard, because of recycling costs, et cetera. they're going up all over the place. When Green did their bidding, they had Kimball. And I will tell you, I think there was some consideration even to piggybacking with Copley, which was $16.85 per month. But instead they went out to bid, and Republic came in at $16.64. Kimball came in at $17.75, and Rumpke came in at $23.05. And the contract's locked up for the first 3 years, and then it goes up 2.75% in year 4 and 5, and then there's option 5, 1-year option years to follow. Why might we want to consider piggybacking as opposed to going out for bid? I've had some discussions industry-wide and with some legal counsel for some of the other entities. We've seen what some of the other municipalities are paying, and the short form is, I can tell you from my perspective, I don't have any reason to believe that we would get a bid price lower than what Green got. I told you where Copley just did theirs the first of the year. They're at $16.85. Talmadge is at $17.23. They have Kimball. Kent is at $17.23. They have Republic. Hudson is at $18.72 with Republic, and Barberton's at $19 with Kimball. So those are the ones I was able to grab that had been recently negotiated. The upside to the piggyback would be this. Number one, we don't have to, in no particular order of importance, we wouldn't have to switch providers, and that's an issue. You get new containers, not just new containers, that's the easy part. You got new drivers, you got new routes, you got new bins, and a lot of these places are having trouble getting their drivers right now. You may have read that. So there's a problem there, so we don't have to go through that part. We have had relatively few complaints, and there's a pretty solid protocol in place for that. I can tell you from my perspective, when a complaint hits my desk, and I know that Karen and Chris do the same thing, we've got a go-to number immediately with Republic, and we call them and they get after it. So they've been very responsive, and we don't get too many complaints. We save the time and expense of going through the bidding process. And if we go through the bidding process, we're stuck with the bidding process. I mean, we'll take probably the low bid, but I don't know what that is, and I do believe it would be higher than the $16.64. I told you the price is locked in for 3 years. Recycling would become weekly instead of bi-weekly. And avoid that, is this recycle week or is that recycle week? So in any event, they recycle weekly. And then seniors would be eligible for the reduced unlimited rate of $14.37. And under our old plan, I think they got a 10% break. But this is a more significant break than that. And we got a lot of seniors. And they can sign up for $14.37. So if you feel at least at this point makes some sense, I would introduce legislation in 2 weeks authorizing that, saying that yes, we would adopt the contract, and we're asking Green to allow us to piggyback. Once, if we pass that, then that goes to Green, and then Green, it goes to their council, and then they make the decision if they're willing to do that. And if we move that along, we have enough time in the event for some reason Green says no, and I don't have any reason to think they would, we'll still have time to go out to bid. So I'm recommending that we follow that route. And does anybody feel strongly opposed to it? I'm not asking you to vote on it because that'll come next week or 2 weeks from now. Anybody strongly opposed to that idea?
Are we stuck with their contract then after
Yeah.
5 years and then we go back up?
Yeah. We all have the options. We have a separate option for the 1 year. And we're kind of hoping that we even maybe have a little more buying power at that point in time, because one of the things we've discussed is as our COG, we think there'll probably be some additional members of the COG. Right now, Coventry's piggybacking on us, and maybe at that 5-year mark, we might be talking about 4 or 5 municipalities, as opposed to just us and New Franklin, which I think would be favorable.
I do have a question. David and I mentioned, I think a couple meetings ago, that we thought our contract was very good. Would it be the same contract that we drew up?
Yeah, generally. Yeah, and because it's Republic. And so it's very, very similar. put legislation together and I'll bring it to you in 2 weeks and we'll see if we want to go forward. Okay, let me see. A couple other things you'll be happy to hear quickly. With Tudor House events, we have, they've all been great so far. And we did have the Akron Symphony Guild out at the Tudor House this afternoon. And they were really well received, and then we got plenty of good vibe from them. And so it was a good day for New Franklin in that regard, for kind of showing off the place to people from all over Summit County. Cool Runnings is Tuesday night. So I don't know, that's one about the bobsled or something, but everybody tells me it's a pretty funny movie. So come on out Tuesday night to movie night. Throw down a blanket, we got popcorn and all those kind of things. And that's at 8:30 on Tuesday. We will follow 2 weeks after that with our second movie night, and that's going to be Doolittle. And the zoo backed out on us, but my special project coordinator assures me that we are going to have animals. I might even bring some from.
Whoa, no
Yeah.
monkey looking at me.
No, but we're going to have some animals there for the kids to see and play around. Yeah. So that's August 10th. Lakeside Barbecue is Friday, August 13th. And I think I got a flyer in there. Maybe I don't. Anyway, I don't. But it's, we're looking for support, of course. And we've sent out for some sponsors. We've already had some responses. It's $50. It's barbecue chicken and pulled pork and mac and cheese and dessert, 2 drink tickets, beer, wine. Those kind of things. We got entertainment. We're going to have raffles, and it's really is a fun event. And I know many of you, if not all of you, were at the Plan Bake a couple years ago. So that's Friday. That's going to be an exciting weekend because that's Friday, August 13th, and then fireworks is Saturday, August 14th. So it could be a fun weekend out here in New Franklin, and the tickets are here in the office. And we're advertising them online, and all you got to do is call, and we'll make sure we get some tickets out to them.
But you don't have to buy tickets, you can just donate if you want.
No, you can't. This one you have to. This
You
one
have to buy tickets?
you got to buy tickets for this one.
Even if you donate those to somebody else.
I'm sorry.
You could. If you bought your tickets, you could give them to someone else.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We think some of our sponsors will probably do that. We local businesses and some of our providers, they'll buy them and then they'll disperse them. So, no, all good. That'll be August 13th. And then our final event will be Music on the Lawn, August 24th. And we got a group, kind of like a chamber group, Opus, with something a little different. But I've heard it before, and they're really good. So it should be a nice, peaceful, restful Tuesday on the lawn. All right. Paving bids come in Friday, and we've had some early returns, and we are hopeful that those numbers will come in at what was advertised before. And assuming they do, we'll be ready to go on that. I got to think through whether I got to ask you to approve it again. We already approved it once, so I'll have to look at the protocol on that. Whether it may require a second resolution. If so, we'll have that for you in 2 weeks, assuming that the bid's coming good, and we think they will. I regretfully, I can't remember if I mentioned this, and I should have, but Joe Parsons submitted his resignation because he moved from New Franklin. And Joe has been just golden for New Franklin. Sat on so many commissions. I think he was on the comp plan. He might have been on the charter commission. In fact, I think he was the chair of the charter commission for a couple of times. So it's a real loss for the community, but I'm happy for Joe. So he has resigned his position from the BZA. The charter indicates that for the Board of Zoning Appeals, the mayor makes the appointment, recommends the appointment, and then council has to approve it. So tonight I'm recommending the appointment of Ed Kosla, K-O-S-L-A. He is currently our alternate. And he has indicated a willingness to become a full board member. And that would be for the balance of the unexpired term, which runs through December 31st of 2024. So I would ask for a motion approving the appointment of Ed Kosla to the BZA.
Motion to approve the mayor's recommendation for the appointment of Ed Kosla.
Second.
Zoning Appeals, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go.
Excellent. All right, the last thing I got is this. We got our annual letter from the Department of Liquor Control. And all of the liquor licenses expire October 31st. Maybe October 1st. I should have left this paper out. If the city wishes to object to any of the renewals, oh, here we go. Give you the exact right date. Hey, here's our flyer for this. Yeah, so we do have a flyer. And it's a spectacular setting, mouth-watering menu, lively entertainment. The press was, they were ready to go to eat as soon as they saw it. All right. Okay, so the Department of Liquor Control, they all expire October 1st of 2021. In the event that council wants to object to the renewal of any permit holder's license, that objection has to be postmarked no later than September 1st. It requires a resolution that specifies the problems at the liquor permit premises and the legal grounds for the objection. The chief legal officer must also submit a statement that in the chief legal officer's opinion, the objection is based upon substantial legal grounds within the meaning and intent of revised code section 4303.292. So that's what's required if council chooses to object to any of the permit holders. The elephant in the room is the upper deck because they had some significant problems early this year. And I'm not going to speak to you as an advocate for or against. I will tell you that we had meetings with them and that we made some changes. Our police declined to continue to provide some security there. Some kind of sheriff has. I am not aware of any significant issues there in terms of, there was gunshots there, okay? Those kind of things, or even fights. So that's not reaching my desk. I'm getting weekly reports, and the weekly reports are pretty much nothing out of the ordinary. So again, I don't say that to advocate for them. I just want you to have that information. And I don't mean to single the upper deck out. There's plenty of permit holders. So if anybody on council feels that you want to register an objection to the renewal of any of the liquor permits, you need to let us know that. We'll get legal involved, and I guess the next step would be, does legal feel that we've got a sufficient basis to proceed with the objection? And the last thing, of course, I would say is just because we filed an objection doesn't mean it's not going to be litigated. And as a lot of people know in this business, it's rather difficult historically, it's kind of tough. So generally, you want to have a really good reason if you're going to have that file. So that's what I got on that. Anybody, feel free to reach out to us if you feel that you want to object. And that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, finance, Susan.
Really nothing to report right now. We've finished our audit. We've finished all our gaps up, and so we're back to regular business.
Thank you. Okay, old business.
I have a couple. We talked about moving our videos from Facebook to YouTube. Is that happening?
I don't know. Robert?
Just waiting for a decision on where you want to leave it permanently.
Okay. I tell you, I'm not prepared to answer that, but I'll have to ask. And because I can't right now speak to the pros and cons. Is one superior to the other? Is access better?
Facebook would be exactly like YouTube if you turn the comments off.
Okay.
Well, we just announced on June 3rd that future meetings would be on YouTube.
And they are right now, right?
Yeah, we publish the Facebook videos on YouTube afterwards.
Afterwards, but
Not live.
right.
Okay. All right. I'll have to get after that.
Okay. On June
Hey,
18th is
Jim, if I could interrupt you.
sure.
Is it still the notion, though, that and we want it live streamed, but we're not looking for live interaction?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay. On June 18th, the state lifted their state of emergency. Have we officially done that here?
We have not yet, and Summit County hasn't yet either. So that just hasn't happened downtown yet. And part of our state of emergency was based upon the fact that the state of Ohio and Summit County
Okay,
had registered theirs. So we're just really waiting for that shoe to fall downtown.
okay. Mr. Fetterman mentioned a couple months ago about having a light or two installed at Grill Park. And we're going to look at getting a grant out of NOPEC, I believe,
Yeah.
for that.
I have I've talked with our service director about that. I'll have to have him get back to me in terms of what the expense would be. So I mean, I think it's a worthwhile project. Meanwhile, we've had another project surface, and we only get about $7,800 this year. They changed their formula, so that's what we have to work with. We took a look at converting the administration and police buildings to LED. And we just got the price on that, as a matter of fact. That's about $12,000, and so our thinking was to try to use that NOPEC money towards that, because that one's four square with the light goes to be. That doesn't mean we couldn't separate apart from that, do lighting out at Grill Park. So I'll have to follow up on that one too.
Wasn't there someone else that was offering grants for energy conservation and stuff like that? A couple years ago, I thought.
Yeah, there was a couple years ago.
I don't remember who had that. I don't think it was NOPEC.
I thought the same thing, to tell you the truth. I can't remember whether
Is it just the
it wasn't the
I
East.
thought it was a county.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I
I think
think
the
it was
county
too.
does stuff like that.
I think they came and gave us some information.
We'll look into that.
Police reports. We still aren't seeing police reports online.
Yeah.
Updates on that?
I thought that they were starting, we talked to our police about that, and I thought that they were at least starting to manually download some of the reports. They didn't feel in terms of trying to go back in time, I think they were just going to try to start prospectively. We've learned, I talked to Summit County about this, because this is all part of us trying to be good soldiers, and Summit County had switched to from Sundance to Tyler New World. Those are the two companies, and most of Summit County is on Tyler now, which that was the plus for communication. I talked specifically with Summit County after the last time we spoke. They are still having problems with Tyler. They have quit paying Tyler. Until these glitches get resolved. But it's not unique to New Franklin. And it's very, very frustrating for our guys, not just the public not being able to get these. But they've had situations where they prepare the report and they try to download it and it doesn't enter, and they start from scratch. So they're muddling through. We're all fighting through it. So is most of Summit County. So I'll keep you updated.
Can I add to that too?
Yeah.
How they used to be done when it was through when it was through the CAD system that we used to have. Basically, there was a program that actually created the report and redacted the report and put it online.
That's the problem.
But with Tyler New World, they don't have a program to do that. So basically, we have to physically get the reports and physically redact them ourselves before we can put them online. So that's part of the holdup, just so you know.
That makes sense.
And do we want to spend time to assign one person that's kind of their life duty to take every police report, redact it, and put it up, so.
That would take a lot of time.
So I will say this, I mean, and to the best of my knowledge, an individual who wants a copy of a specific report relative to a specific incident, they can get that.
Sure.
Okay. So those are available. But in terms of getting them all of them out to everybody to see what's going on around here, we're still working on that.
Okay. Citizen Advisory Group, did they meet last week?
We met last week. We had 11 people. What we did, we sort of, I call it kind of hit and reset, because we had a few new people. And so we reviewed what that panel was going to try to accomplish. We presented at least the rationale behind the the need for development, if you accept the premise that costs are going to rise and we're going to need to have increased revenue streams, and property tax is maxed out, and income tax is the answer. Rather than raising the income tax, we try to get more business in here to try to make that up. So you really kind of got to start with that premise. I mean, if you don't accept that premise, then there's no need for development. But so we presented that to him again, and then we talked about the areas, State Route 93, including Massillon Road and 619. We added a fourth area, that little industrial pocket we got down there at Van Buren and Center. And from there, we talked about, the initial group was formed to really talk about State Route 93, so we did some focus on that. But prior to doing that, what I had shared with the CAP was that when we got together first, I think we did a Zoom in February or so, our focus really was 93. Since then, with this ARP money, and sewer, water, broadband, and how we're going to spend that, it's kind of broadened it has broadened the focus. And now we're saying, we might be able to do something on 619. And we might be able to do something out there in that little industrial pocket. And we kind of want to take a bigger picture. Because as you recall, the earlier discussion was focused on 93. Okay, let's get a consultant in here to talk about 93 and help us guide us through what 93 ought to look like. And then there was some confusion about what the intentions of the city were and who pulls the strings and what do we want to have up there. And so we put the brakes on that. So I let them know that, to me, that turned out to be a good thing. And I'm not coming back to council and saying, let's hire a consultant for 93. I'm back more shifted to the notion of we're going to continue dialogue on 93, but meanwhile, most likely come back to you and say, let's look back at that update for the comprehensive plan. And I think that was consistent with a lot of the comments that came out. We broke into two groups, and we had those groups talk about what would you like to see on 93, what would you not like to see there. We asked them if they felt there was should we consider a historical center or a historical district? Do we need a town center? And if so, where should it be? And we broke into two groups, and we had a lively discussion. And they were at it for an easy half hour. And then they reported out. And so we had good balance to that. And what we agreed at that point is we would reconvene. I want to get a little better idea of what's going on with ARPA and what funds are going to be there and how we might be able to use them. Because when we first started this conversation, and we were talking sewer, water, and highway. And we've added that fourth component, broadband, as something that, development is necessary for development. So we're looking at all four of those areas. I want to kind of see how it unfolds in terms of, exactly what strings are attached, et cetera. So we agreed to get back together in about 60 days. And when I see that happening is I think there was some suggestion of getting the whiteboards out. And so my intention is going to be to expand that conversation. Start with what we had, try to get the full group together because it was a beautiful night in the middle of summer. And we had some people reach out and said they were out of town, they couldn't be there. So we want to get, that core group is about 25 people. So that's what's going on with the CAP.
That's all I have, Mr. Stock.
All right, thank you. How about new business? I got a question. Who doesn't have a key to our conference room?
It's not a key to the conference room, it's getting.
Oh, you're talking about
the
it,
conference
it's not the conference room. Oh, you're talking about getting back in the.
Getting from here to the conference
I
room.
got you.
Sort of
I
the
know.
door.
I know you've never had one. You have never had
I
one.
turned it back in, right?
So, okay, I thought somebody didn't have a key to get
No,
into that.
I think it's just
Yeah,
getting-
like, wow. No, just okay, just a box, okay. That's all I have. I was saying, you guys don't have keys there, you gotta get your keys there. We just don't have the code to get it.
Right.
That's it. Any other new business? New business? Usually gets to the back, get ready to move on. Okay, too late. All right. Public questions. Anybody have anything that we talked about tonight for us? Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
My name's Eric Goodwin, 6789 Hampshire. I got a question about the paving that's going on. I noticed the lane next to Mr. Dependable was paved. Is that a public road?
What, lane?
The lane right next to Mr. Dependable on Route 93 goes from Mr.
Yes,
Dependable
yeah,
to
yeah.
Mr.
Cherry, that's not Cherry. Which one is it? The one next to.
Cherry's the next one down, Dave, to the
Yeah.
opposite side.
The one
I don't know
goes-
what the name of that
Is
is.
it three?
No,
One that
that's,
goes around there by
it's on
Paul's Park here.
There's no street sign on it. I thought it was
No,
an
there
alley.
isn't.
That's why I was wondering, is that city property?
between Mr. Dependable and it goes out and around and comes back
And I
out
don't
on
know
Emerson.
if
Right.
Mr. Caterly's, Rick Caterly,
Right.
named that going back to, I don't know if that was all part of the same street there. Do you know where we're talking about, Paul?
Exactly.
Okay, the tavern, you know where the tavern
Yeah.
is? Okay, right behind the tavern.
Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Right
sorry,
across
no.
from Lockhart Field, Mr. Williams used to have a barber shop there.
Yeah, if you go
it's
straight
across the
up.
street from the tavern.
Yeah, if you go straight out of Caterly Way, you go straight through, then you can turn left and it comes back out on Manchester Road.
Okay.
Or you can go straight on, it goes to Paul's Park here.
I don't know the answer. I'll have to find out.
Is that Cherry?
No.
Cherry's a little bit further down, I
Okay.
think.
I know Brian can answer that
You know,
question.
like,
I can't, but I'll find out.
Cherries.
So we don't know if that's a
Sometimes
public
they'll come
street.
up here.
I gotta figure out what street it is, Mr. Goodwin. It's just not clear to me. I don't wanna mislead you.
Does anybody know how many vehicles use that per week?
I know.
The cemetery is paved, how many vehicles per week go in there?
Oh, in the cemetery? Oh, I'm sure there's quite a few.
At Cherry Lane, you've got two houses and that was asphalted. I guess my question is, I understand we have money. Some of these less traveled areas aren't as big a concern to public safety and wear and tear of vehicles. Could they have been better done with chip and seal? Cherry Lane, I mean, there's two houses on there. I know I personally talked to a lot of people who live there. They had no idea it was going to be paved. They said the road was fine the way it was. So that's my only question. Can we stretch these dollars out if we use chip and seal on these less traveled areas that aren't a safety concern?
I was kind of curious about that too.
The best I can do is check with Brian and have him respond.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Vito Guarneri, 151 West Caston Road, Caston and Odell. We had chip and seal done a while back, and I've had it done. I've been living in the area for 43 years, and this year it's a mess. I have nature stone in my in the garage, and I'm picking up stones with asphalt on the tires, putting in there, and I've seen other roads, that have been done paved. Speaking of pavement, I don't know what the order is, and who gets paid, and what gets paid, and so on and so forth. But that chip and seal this year is a total mess, and I'm disappointed in it because it's making a mess not only in the property, but around the areas and stuff like that. And I don't know. I spoke to a couple people in the area on Odell there, where I live and stuff, or go around and walk, and they're dissatisfied with it because it's not turned out what should have been. Let me put it that way. And I've worked for 22 years, 30 years for the city of Akron. I've been retired for 22 years. And so, I've seen work done in that area, and I think it was much better than what we have received in that.
So, Odell, there's fresh chip and seal on Odell?
It's 2
It
years
was
old
last
now.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I want to be clear, because there's a second component this year, but they haven't started the chip and seal yet. What you're telling me is whatever they did there a couple of years ago, it's not holding up.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. And my understanding, Shrikes, I don't know the traveling Shrikes, they started out chip and seal, something happened there, so they paved it.
I think I can answer that one. And in terms of the priority of paving, we obtained pavement condition ratings a couple of years ago that gave us some prioritization in terms of trying to help order, what needs fixed first. And so, and we've relied on our service director to factor that in terms of his recommendations to us in terms of what gets done. That Shrakes Hotel area back there, because I saw that happening too. A lot of that is City of Green, and they got so much money that they come in and they pull everything up, and then they chip and seal, and then they let that settle, and then they pave on top of the chip and seal. So they didn't start with chip and seal and then put paving because, leave that part out where I said they got so much money.
I know they did.
No. So that didn't start out chip and seal, and they said, "Uh-oh, we better pave it." Because I saw the same thing. I said, "What are they doing?" Brian said, "Well, that's how they do it." They chip and seal first, and then they follow with the paving, which, God bless them. So that's what happened there.
Okay, Mike, you know, I wish someone would come out and look at that.
I'll make sure we do.
I'm sorry,
I'll make sure we do.
I would appreciate it.
Sir, can I have your name and address, please?
Yes, Vito, V-I-T-O, one ear, G-U-A-R-N-E-R-I. 151, West Caston,
Okay, thank you.
in Odette. Corner, I have the corner house there. I think I bought my house from Judy,
You may have, thank you very much.
43 years ago.
All right, anybody else? Anything? All right, thanks, everybody. Executive session?
No.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right, ayes have it, thank you. Next council meeting is August 4th, 2021. We'll start our committees at 6 and follow with them.